What if the answer you've been searching for isn't out there, but waiting in the stillness? Stay with me. You may never see silence the same way again. Welcome, soul seekers. Oh boy, we are on quite the journey with social, spiritual, healing, growth, personal stuff that is hitting us on every level. And one of the things I wanted to look at is that question about stillness, because what's the power of stillness? It seems so unhelpful, but actually you may have heard that it's very helpful. And we're going to talk about that today with the Soul Life Treasure Hunt. I'm bringing in the Holy Spirit right now, and we are going to have a discussion about what in the world can stillness do for us as we live in a crazy, chaotic world that wants us distracted, wants us angry, wants us to be looking in places and at people instead of looking inward and at ourselves. So let's take a look and see what it is that stillness can do for us on our healing journey. I'm going to use the green dice and roll to see where we're at on this question, because it's coming up a lot in my world. We're going into the body realm, the health realm, which is perfect. And we are talking about, this is interesting. 4 and 1 is talking about mental health. Boy, that makes sense, right? Stillness, taking time to be quiet and let, I'm thinking, all of ourselves, the creature self, the soul self, the mental self to calm down, the heart self to ease up, and just enjoy a moment of calmness, just quiet. And where do you go to do that? What do you expect to receive from that? We have a lot to talk about today. As you know, I never know where we're actually going with these readings because I always ask Spirit to come in, guide us to something, and mental health in our overall body health, that's the brain, and how that will direct us into triggering things may or may not be in our best interest overall, especially if we're not thinking clearly with clarity about what is happening in our world and around us and within us, and so that we can make good choices. Going with the Millennium Thoth deck. I like this deck. As you know, I find that it's a style of Thoth that I had not learned on, and the more I work with it, the more I'm respecting the way the cards are reading for me and the messages are coming in. Last time we did an Osho reading with Zendex and the Neo Tarot deck, and I just still going to be learning about that one. But as we go through this one with Thoth, how do we do this? How do we look at stillness and mental health being one in the same? Heart of the matter will be 2 of Cups. Wow. It's that lover's type of energy where you love the unity of the oneness of who you are. You are a soul, spirit, ego, creature self. So how that all comes together, many people think they're just physical and, the brain is just an organ. And others are going, no, we have a spiritual nature just living in a temporary body experience of the physical and driven by nature's evolutions and seasons and cycles. So I see this card saying that we marry both together because what one is giving us, the other one is also receiving such a beautiful amount of wisdom and knowledge, and vice versa. Let's just say that with a soul spirit, it appears to me that that would be something that if you don't know what love is, you kind of got to find out what love is not, because that will help you find what it really is. What is the real meaning of love? What is the meaning of unconditional love? We can talk about it, and we can get silent about it, but how do we know and integrate it into something that is really part of ourselves. So it's the shadow side and the light side. Kind of see that in that card too. So it's Venus with Cancer. Cancer is very much about the home life, the intimate self and loved ones right there. So, and the beauty of life. I love that. Our soul is asking us to go deep like the hermit does, to stop what we're doing and go into a very deep cavern, and that shadow self going into the caverns. And I'm going to tell you, many of us have been taught that shadow work is going to bring up all the negative stuff. I have found shadow work to also bring up some of the most beautiful gems, things I never even knew I actually have as a skill or a talent or an insight into who I am, what is going on, and why I see things the way I perceive them to be. So that's the beauty of the hermit world, is finding the pluses and the minuses. It's a balancing act, yes, of light and dark, but it's so important. Let's take a look at the consciousness, because this is subconscious. And let's take a look at something you can really depend on and count on and call out for. Know that this is true. The Ten of Pentacles. Interesting. The Ten of Pentacles always strikes me as being very much in line with a tree of life. It looks like all of the various parts of the tree of life, the circles. Is it the Sephiroth? And I see the tree of life in each one. So it's sort of like how they can take a drop of your blood, and your blood is like the ocean. It's got the saltiness. It's got all the elements of the universe. So each of these pentacles has that universe within it as well. And so this is the Mercury with the Virgo. So very organized, very much about information and communication as we are traveling our soul road. You can call out on this. You can call your highest and best and get more information and ask for life and things to be more orderly instead of so chaotic. One of the things I've found with my life is that the more chaotic, the more crazy life seems to be, the more I need to stop, go into stillness, pray, meditate, just wait for a quieter calmness inside myself. Take a breath and find an answer that is far more wise than being agitated, anxiety-ridden, and working to try to find an answer with my ego brain. My ego brain needs the soul and spirit to help it out. It can do really well if it will release the need to control and give that over to a higher divine self and that alignment. And that's why we work so hard on alignment in this system. And it has been amazing as I go through some really hard times, and right now I'm going through a super hard time, and it is taking everything within me to stay aligned. And that's okay, because at least I know I want and desire to be aligned, instead of letting circumstances just carry me away and make me feel crazier than ever. I can at least say it's okay. We have what we need right now in the moment, because we can stay calm. We can always know that we have a way to ask and receive. We know that we want balance. We want that centered oneness feel and that emotional joy of having connected the light and the dark within us. And we are not afraid to go down deep and find those inner truths within us, the inner treasures, the treasure hunt that we are always on, the soul life treasure hunt. It's a really big part of this whole thing. So the background of what has been kind of playing into all of this question is that Two of Swords. And Two of Swords is really talking a lot about that mental part of us. That is a big stone there. Let me see if I can get that here. So the big idea here is the intuition and the balance. So balancing the crescent moon, intuition, and the other side is the other way we can think. We can think with an intuitive mind and thinking and logic, or we can look at the other one, wanting to look at all sides. Let everyone have a place and a voice within the situation and see if something beautiful and great can come through and really keep us in the center. So we are not going into veering off into one way or the other. We're not going to be fanatics. We're going to be responsible, rational people, souls on a mission, creatures who are able to ask more questions and go to stillness, especially when things get crazy and it's just not making a lot of sense. What is the outcome that this is kind of taking us through? So if you're feeling this right now in your life where you're going, I don't know why, but it just feels like I can't get through to anybody, that, we're at crossroads, it's chaotic, I don't even know how to balance my own life. I'm hearing all sorts of this way or that way, the fanaticism. I can go this way and go rah rah team, or I can go this way, which is opposite, and say rah rah my team. Which team would I choose? And it's saying create the Four of Pentacles, which is enlightenment, is the road out of this fortress. And that's really good. So we have Capricorn down here in leading into this four corners of your life. I always love the Four of Pentacles because I see, while the numbers aren't exactly like the treasure hunt, soul life treasure hunt that I have in front of us, it's very similar. It's a grid. And in the courtyard of who you are, the center of your being, you are asking these very same things. You've got numerology, you've got astrology, you've got all of the things that earth, the air, the water, and the fire. And so all of those elements are playing in, and they happen to be in the four corners of your personal kingdom. So this hermit is asking you to look at what is in the center of your being. What game are you playing? And we're going to see, you've got choices. You've got an outcome where you'll be more strong and secure. You'll be able to go through this little tunnel, which I call the eye of the needle, and out into greater enlightenment. You'll be able to move beyond just being caught between four walls. I like that. I like that. What is the bridge? The bridge is Prince of Swords. It is that strong personal mission that you know you're on. So the Prince of Wands is on a mission. It's got this angelic team leading the way, and wherever it's going to be very, very on purpose. And it's a powerful card. I see a lot of great power. It's breaking through a lot of the clouds. It's saying there's power here. There's power in this stillness. There's power in that stillness. Isn't that interesting? Being on mission, knowing that you've got the either ors to look at and you have a choice to make. How you make that choice is going to determine how well this emotional cup overflowing, your light and dark, and the beauty of the life that you're living is going to feel and bring you to this sense that on this earth, all the elements are protecting you, and you have a courtyard of inner fun. I'm going to say the game. What is the game you're playing? What are you after in your life? So Capricorn is that business side, that strong, earthly, kind of wiser. Of the three earth signs, Capricorn is the oldest and wisest of the three. And that is leading you into knowing how to get into your own safe place. This is your own inner kingdom and how you are going to play the game of your life within the courtyard of this protection of what you've come into and how you're going to be able to get along and go on through to further enlightenment and without the need of this whole earthly fortress. Very interesting. Makes sense. Okay. I think I'm going to, since I already mentioned the Osho Zen deck, let's take a look at the Osho Zen cards, shall we? I mean, you're in this with me together. So remember, we were talking about that in a previous episode. And I'd like to just see what kinds of wisdom this can bring to us and see if there's an answer that will help us even further. One of the things I truly love about this journey is that I am learning. Oh, there we go. That one just jumped right out. Let's see what it was. Your biggest key point is aloneness. This is the thing that is going to help you when you're going through this journey of needing spiritual growth, looking at the stillness and that power of what it means, being comfortable with the aloneness. And I'm going to read more about that, but let's take a look at the card for a minute. Aloneness is card number 9. So aloneness says, when there is no significant other in our lives, we can either be lonely or enjoy the freedom that solitude brings. When we find no support among others for our deeply felt truths, we can feel either isolated and bitter or celebrate the fact that our vision is strong enough even to survive the powerful human need for approval of family, friends, or colleagues. If you are facing such a situation now, be aware of how you are choosing to view your aloneness and take responsibility for the choice you made. The humble figure in this card glows with a light that emanates from within. One of Gautam Buddha's most significant contributions to the spiritual life of humankind was to insist to his disciples, be a light unto yourself. Ultimately, each of us must develop within ourselves the capacity to make our way through the darkness without any companions, maps, or guides. It also talks about when you are alone, you are not alone. You are simply lonely. And there is a tremendous difference between loneliness and aloneness. When you are lonely, you are thinking of the other. You are missing the other. Loneliness is a negative state. You are feeling that it would have been better if other was there. Your friend, your wife, your mother, your beloved, your husband. It would have been good if the other was there, but the other is not. Loneliness is absence of the other. Aloneness is presence of oneself. Aloneness is a positive. Aloneness is very positive. It is a presence, overflowing presence. You are so full of presence that you can fill the whole universe with your presence, and there is no need for anybody. Wow. Well, that's speaking to my situation, but it also talks about this whole, how do you meditate? How do you heal from that feeling of loneliness and accept aloneness and accept that you really do get the gift of being alone enough that you can be present in this whole universe. Which brings me to mind of that we create our own universal perspectives. So if you're alone and quiet and allowing that stillness to happen, it gives you a chance to be powerful and to let the inner wisdom that is coming up. You've got those choices to make. Being alone is the way you're going to actually heal and find your own spiritual detox opportunities, your inner voice, being able to listen to it, the resilience that meditation actually offers you, and healing through just quietness. I also like to be out in nature because I'm not listening to other people's, nobody else's opinions, but the birds and the trees and the winds and things are like that are still around me, reminding me I'm not really alone. I am here on purpose. Why else would I be here? There's a reason. So that's the message for today. There is a membership if you want to go deeper with us. I'm going to go over to the membership now and do some more cards. I love adding more cards to each of the corners. We've kind of done that kind of idea here in this card with the Four of Pentacles. So getting more support from our personal, the purpose, the season and cycle, and an ultimate outcome that we could be looking toward. And then I also like to throw in other things like other oracle decks, other wise wisdoms that will help us to accept that sometimes aloneness is going to be the best answer for the current situation. You're so important. Your presence is requested. Can you be quiet and bring it to us, to yourself? I kind of like that. All right, till next time. Thank you for the loves, likes, shares. And I just want to thank you again for all this opportunity to be here with you today.